So they try to do that, and they try to figure out how to do that, and they go see Obi. And Obi is played by Ki Hui Kwan, and he's amazing. Hey everyone, welcome back to Canon Cinema. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today I will be reviewing Loki Season 2, Episode 1. I want to give a huge shout out to Disney for giving me the opportunity to watch this ahead of its scheduled premiere. I loved the first season. I really enjoyed it. I think the first season of Loki was one of the better MCU shows. As you all know, I wasn't a big fan of WandaVision, and I know how people feel about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that was also my favorite. So Loki kind of slipped in there. My number one peeve with Loki Season 1 is that it opened up our eyes to variants. It opened up our eyes to the sacred timeline, to multiple timelines, and everything existing at once pretty much, and there's multiple copies of people. Nothing was addressed from Loki. We had 3 or 4 movies that had to deal with the multiverse, and nothing went back to what happened in Loki. And right now for Season 2, going into Episode 1, they don't really make that connection to what happened in Quantumania either, because it was a contained situation. And I think that that's what's so troubling about these MCU shows being connected to the films, is that we're not getting enough of that connection. So with Loki Season 2, Episode 1, it was very slow. The first couple of scenes were confusing. It's like Loki Season 1, Episode 1, they're trying to set up everything. They're trying to really tell you what is happening time travel-wise and multiverse-wise. And it's a lot. I think the first episode was kind of overstuffed. Too much was happening. Loki was time slipping, that we find out. So Loki's been going, to the future and to the past. They kind of pulled from across the Spider-Verse how they move, like the stretchy skin moving from past to present as a variant. I think that they kind of stole that from there visually. And I think that the time slipping got confusing because we didn't know how far into the future he was going and how far back into the past he was going. What was being done in Episode 1 is to show what happened after Sylvie killed He Who Remains in the finale, because everything was different. The timekeepers were not present in the future, but they were in the past. They had them in the war rooms, they had them everywhere, and everyone at the TVA who's still at the TVA is saying that they need to start pruning the branches. So after Sylvie killed He Who Remains, the sacred timeline is still there, but there are more and more branches, like all over the place, popping up all over the place. So these branches obviously have people living there. So it's the whole back and forth of, well, there's people here, we can't kill these branches. And then others are like, well, if we still have these branches popping up and we have like whole civilizations in this specific timeline, then that could create something even more catastrophic in the multiverse. So you don't really know who's right and who's wrong in that case. And that is the main conversation in Episode 1. So now this is where it gets a bit messy. There's a lot of dead air in this episode. I don't know why. You look at Mobius and you look at Loki, and they have such great banter. That's why many of us loved Season 1 so much, is because of the two of them. Wilson and Hiddleston have great chemistry, but there's so much dead air in this first episode. The jokes aren't landing, and Wilson is trying his darnest because they gave everything to him, humor-wise, and it's not landing. And I think that the whole back and forth through time is what made this so jarring. So because the sacred timeline is present and there's all of these branches, it's going out of whack in front of the TVA. So that means that there's radiation that's attacking the TVA and could ultimately destroy the entire TVA. So there's no hold on these branches, there's no hold on this radiation. And because Loki is time slipping, in order for him to stay in one spot, they have to figure out how to get to the temporal loom and extract him from another moment in time and then freeze him in this present moment with Mobius. So they try to do that, and they try to figure out how to do that, and they go see Obi. And Obi is played by Ki Hui Kwan, and he's amazing. But between Ke Huy Quan, Owen Wilson, and Tom Hiddleston. There's supposed to be a really strong banter, and you can tell by the dialogue. It's very snippy and quick. It's so dead. It felt very off this first episode, and I was kind of disappointed with it. I was underwhelmed. We learn about the temporal loom. We learn about the temporal aura extractor as well, because the extractor is going to really just keep this variant of Loki nice and tight in this present time and moment. They go to temporal loom. They find out that everything is really becoming messy and that the sacred timeline has all of these branches. And the branches are causing these power failures and surges into the TVA. So if they keep going and not pruning them, then the TVA will disappear. No one knows what the right thing to do is. So you have two groups of people that, one's working with Loki and the rest are working with other warheads who want to start pruning the branches. So it's pruning the branches versus not pruning the branches. Pruning the branches will save the TVA. Not pruning the branches will save the people, but they don't know what to do with the TVA. That's basically where we're at right now. So what happens is that they have to go outside where the radiation is and pull Loki back from the future. So Loki's in the future. He's still in the TVA, but he's in the future. He time jumps to the future. And right before Mobius pulls him back with the extractor, Loki sees that there's someone trying to pry open the elevator, and it's Sylvie. So Sylvie's trying to open the elevator. How far in the future are we here? Okay. And then Loki has to prune himself to extract himself from the future, his variant in the future, and then pull him back in to his present body with Mobius, which he ends up doing at the very last second. Everyone's safe. Mobius and Loki are together and they are in the present time. That is how episode 1 ends. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I was very underwhelmed with this, even though the pacing kind of picked up in the second half of this. It's very fast paced, but it's too overstuffed. I know they're trying to set up everything again. There's a 6-episode arc here. I understand it. It's still good. So it's a good starting point. Wilson, Ke Huy Quan, and Tom Hiddleston are just so great together. I really love that we got to see them together again in this. They were great. They really do have to find Sylvie because Sylvie's determined to kill whatever variant that she finds of Kang, of He Who Remains. So it's very important for them to find Sylvie. There is a post-credit scene that takes you back to 1982, and Sylvie does pop up, so you kind of know which timeline she's in. I'm not going to say more because it's really cute, actually. It's really cute what happens with that post-credit scene. So I really enjoyed it. It's 3 out of 5 for me. I'm really excited for people to watch episode 2, which I enjoyed 10 times more than episode 1. But this was a good starting point for Loki season 2. So if you guys enjoyed Loki season 2 episode 1, please let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can always follow me over at AMXNDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And if you guys want to help me grow this wonderful channel, you can find out ways to do that in the bio below. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.